Income tax department has tapped the redevelopment of properties, and they were trying to levy taxes on the flats which you have got against your old flat which was redeveloped. So you had surrendered an old flat for redevelopment and you got a new flat against it. So there were charges by the income tax department on this new flat which is acquired under certain sections where tax was being levied. People filed appeal with the department, and there is a recent judgment from the ITAT, that is the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, which has led to a certain conclusion which every single person who is going for redevelopment of their property should be knowing. So what was the situation basically? Basically, there were people who had surrendered their own old flat and they got a new one, and they were being served income tax notices for this particular very purpose. Because often when the old flat is converted, you get some extra square feet, isn't it? So when you are going for redevelopment, the whole purpose is that you get a extra benefit against that redevelopment. Also, your old property gets converted into a new one, and at the same time, you earn extra square feet. This is the whole idea. Or you get money, whatever the case is. But most of the time, people go for redevelopment; they get a new flat against the old one. So now, let's take an example. Old flat, the square feet were only 1,000 square feet, and now you go for redevelopment. Your new flat will be around 1,500 square feet. So in such a case, section 56(2) was triggered by the income tax department, where they said that they will charge amount of tax under the head of income from other sources, basically on the differential amount. So what is the differential amount? Differential amount is basically in the case where we saw that 500 square feet which was got extra, that would be the differential square feet, and on that whatever is the charge, the value, that will be the differential amount. So if you take the old flat value was, let's say, 1 crore and the new flat value was 1.5 crore, the differential value would be 50 lakhs, which will come under the ambit of section 56(2). This is what the department said, and on this there would be charges of tax under the head of income from other sources. So basically this entire amount would be added to your income, and you would be taxed at the whatever the slab rates are applicable for that financial year. This was what the department claimed. So SSC said, no, we cannot pay tax on this differential. It's just that we have surrendered our old flat and we have got a new one. There is nothing like income generated in this particular process. So that was the whole fight that was going on. So a favorable order is passed now for in the recent time periods for the assessee by the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, which is a good news, where they have scrapped the applicability of this 56(2) section. So at the most, they said that you can tax the value of whatever the differential amount is under the head of capital gains. Now here is the glitch. Will we be paying capital gain tax on that extra 50 lakhs which you earned in that example? So this is what we need to understand. Now, if we tax it on the basis of capital gains tax also, what happens? The new flat value becomes deductible under section 54. Now, what is this section 54 and what is this deductibility that is applicable? Let us take a look. If you have an old property, let's say worth 1 crore rupees. Now, what happens in this case? Your redeveloped flat value is 1.5 crore, as we have seen. So what happens? Capital gains will be on that 50 lakhs. According to the new parameters of computation, we don't take indexed cost of acquisition. So if you are not taking indexed cost of acquisition, the extra amount will be 50 lakhs, right? And if we are talking about new investment, say section 54 gives us the benefit that if your capital gain is invested in a new residential flat of your own, or it's coming under the bonds and everything, then you will be getting relief under the capital gains. So basically this new flat itself, the ITAT said that this new flat itself can be assumed to be the investment, right? So where is the applicability of capital gains when the conversion takes place? There is no capital gains also. So an old flat that has got converted into a new flat under a redevelopment scheme will be tax-free in the hands of the assessee. Now you need to remember one important thing, that even though it is tax-free in the hands of the assessee, it is only when you have got the flat in hand after the redevelopment. You cannot say that it will be tax-free when you sell the flat. Now there are many people, what they do, they are actually taking the new flat against whatever the redevelopment has happened, and as soon as they get the flat, they will sell it off, or they may sell it after a few years. Now, in this case, when you're selling the flat, after getting it in your own hands, in your name, after the redevelopment, then this sale will come under ambit of capital gains tax. So whatever the differential value will be when you're selling the flat, you will have to pay capital gains tax on it at the applicable rate at that point of time. So you need to remember this, that on just getting the possession of the new flat, you are not having any tax to be paid in that year. However, when you sell the new flat that has been got, you will be taxed under the capital gains scheme. So hope this particular case that we have discussed here and the recent judgment that we have understood will be helpful in cases where you're going for redevelopment of your flats or your societies or whatever. And just in case you know people who are going for redevelopment, do share this particular video so that they also get their knowledge updated about this. Another thing is that if you have not yet joined the channel of Commerce GYAN, do subscribe to this channel, because we will be sharing important updates relating to commerce, trade, economics, law on this particular channel ahead also. Recent news and updates will also be given. So hope to see you in the next video of Commerce GYAN. Thank you.